Welcome to Salam Media. You're still tuned in to the home of humanitarian journalism, and you're still talking to me, Salalo Makwidiri. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. And yeah, we're going to be having a host of interviews in a bit, where we'll be talking to people from different sectors, just getting their reactions from yesterday's announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa of the GNU, the seventh administration, and the makeup thereof. We'll be getting voices from different sects. We'll be speaking to people from the education sector, who'll be giving us their reaction on the appointment of the new Minister of Education. We'll be getting people from the security sector, safety and security sector, who'll also be giving us their reaction to the minister that's appointed, getting people from agriculture and so forth and so forth, just to get a feel of what the general public thinks of President Cyril Ramaphosa's seventh administration, and what it's going to look like. And in a bit, we'll be joined by someone who's going to be making up that seventh administration. We'll be speaking to Honorable Ganief Hendricks, leader of Al-Jama-ah, who's also the newly minted Deputy Minister of Social Development. Really, really excited to be chatting to him just to get his reactions and his thoughts, and being part of, I think, a watershed moment in South Africa's history, the seventh administration, which is a government of national unity. Mr. Hendricks, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media.
Alaikum salam. It's always a pleasure to be on your humanitarian show.
No, thank you so much. Pleasure is all ours. And I can even see with the caption, the last time you and I spoke, your caption there on your title, it said leader of Al-Jama-ah and member of parliament. And now it says Deputy Minister of Social Development. Just give us more insight on this appointment. Is this the one that you always were looking for, or was it a one that the president looked fitting to place you in? Just give us the insights of how this appointment came to be.
Yeah, look, I got a call from the president at 3 o'clock. His office phoned me that the president would like to chat to me at 3:30. I had an interview that time with another TV station. So I asked them, can't we make it 3:45? And the office agreed. 3:45, I didn't get the call from the president. To cut a long story short, I only got a call at about 7 o'clock the evening. So just imagine the president phones me and I'm now waiting to hear from him from 3:45 and 7 o'clock. And so we were all on tender hooks. I don't know why the president phoned me, but the back of my mind told me maybe he wants me to offer me a position in the executive. So when the president phoned me, he explained that, look, you were one of the last parties to join. Most of the positions have been allocated at the time that you joined. And I told him, President, I didn't join late. We working with the political party that heads up the liberation movement for the last 10 years. So don't say we joined late. Nevertheless, he then went on to ask whether I will be happy with a deputy minister position. I told him I will be happy with a deputy president position. And he said, no, I'm offering you deputy minister. So he thought I misunderstood him, but I was just being naughty.
Mm.
And then I was pleasantly surprised when he threw in the hat the social development posts. It never occurred to me that I would be offered such a position. And instantly I accepted because that's what many of us have been doing all our life. Social development is very close to us. Being charitable is very close to us. Social development is a position that a Muslim should take up when it's offered, because that is what it is all about. We know that we have to pay our zakah, we have to pay our fitrah, we have to give lila whenever we can. So the whole life of a Muslim is to do with social development, helping the community. So I'm very excited to take up the position of Deputy Minister of Social Development, and I will be looking after the needs of over 20 million people. No other minister or deputy minister has that responsibility. And yeah, so that was my initial reaction. Very honored that the president thought of me and offered me that position, which we saw in our second member of parliament, Advocate Sali today. And the speaker told me that the cabinet considers this position as one of the most important positions because it speaks to the heart of the nation. And so I'm further encouraged by the speaker to do my best, inshallah, in this position.
Time. I want to touch on just how critical, this department is. I mean, social development is one, that, as you said, speaks to the heart of South Africans. More than 9 million people, who will be interacting with this ministry firsthand. I want to touch on what are going to be some of the key areas that you'll be looking to tackle once you're sworn in and the work starts, to happen for you and your colleagues, because there's so much to do. I mean, in social development, there's the issue of the funding of non-profit organizations. There's issues of inequalities in early childhood learning. There's the issues of grants. Some people are saying they should be increased. Some are saying they should be, other grants that should be, allocated for example, the grants for unemployed young people. But for you personally, what are going to be some of the key areas that you are looking to tackle, and you feel like you can make a meaningful and impactful change in that department?
Look, South Africa is working towards a universal social grant. It's been on the cards for many years, and I need to get a good understanding about it. And I hope that your listeners who are experts in this field will give me nasiha, will give me advice, will assist me to get a better understanding how we can make a success of it. But at the moment, I feel my most important task is to make sure that those who are getting social grants, whether it's pensioners, especially pensioners, or any other grantee, that it is done professionally, that there's no hardship, there's no people get paid on time, that if there are hitches, that there is a plan B, that we do damage control within 5 hours so that people are not disappointed. So that's an area that I will look at closely to put in the checks and balances to make sure that those who qualify for social grants get in on time and there are no delays, because the amount is very small, and still to delay it, I feel, is a travesty of justice. And I don't want to be tainted with not doing anything about it. When I was in Kufumvaba, which is near Queenstown, I went to a village where 75 of our first resistance fighters were hanged because of a mission that they had, and they were caught at Queenstown Station, 10 of them shot and the others taken to court and hanged. And I wanted to find out in this particular village that gave us the lives of their sons, what are their challenges? Obviously, I wanted their votes, but at the same time, they genuinely, I really wanted to know how can we assist them. So they told us that when the Sasa people come with their pensions and it rains, they turn back because there's no shelter where they can administrate the issuing of their grants, and they've got to wait another week until the weather improves before they get their grant. And so you find that all over the country, recipients of grants are experiencing problems. And that is something that I want to first of all look at. But then what is more important is to migrate people who receive grants to get full employment, to rather get jobs. And I was secretary of a trade union for 10 years, looking after workers with disabilities. And I worked in that sector because I wanted to give back something after I retired from the corporate world. And I could work for a trade union for a very low salary. And so my first job was to get them a provident fund. So when they retire at 55, instead of just getting a disability grant, they now get a higher amount of money in the form of a pension. So I think it's very important that we find ways and means to take people out of poverty by creating decent work for them. I spent 5 years as a member of the Portfolio Committee on Small Business, and we have been involved in doing that. And also our parliamentary constituency office, we have been involved in quite a number of projects to eradicate poverty, not alleviate, but eradicate poverty. So, for example, we planted 200,000 plants in Maritzburg on a farm called Claridge's. And the local people there who've got no jobs, who are battling, who may get grants, but it's not enough. When it's harvest time, they can come and harvest, take the cabbages, take the lettuce, and sell it, keep what they want for themselves, and come back with some money to plant more seeds. So we eventually reach our target of 1 million plants under harvest. So that's a project that Al-Jama-ah's parliamentary constituency has to assist about 12 villages around Maritzburg. And this particular farm is near the Turkish eco park. And we also have another project in a fishing village where we managed to get local fishermen a fishing vessel. And then we got a peanut butter manufacturing plant in Granville. So people who don't have jobs, unemployed, can supplement their income. Instead of graduates selling peanuts on the streets in Stanger, they can now manufacture peanut butter. And the opportunity is that they can sell it all over South Africa. So that is the mindset I have taking up this position, that we have been involved in these kind of projects. Look, people who are getting their grants must continue getting their grants with any hardship. But we want to reduce the number of grant recipients by half, inshallah, after my term ends as Deputy Minister of Social Development. So if we can halve the number of grant recipients and put them in jobs, that's a very bold initiative, and I'm counting on your listeners to come forward and provide whatever assistance they can give so we can reach that target. It will be less of a strain on the fiscus if people have jobs. And we're not talking about jobs, we're talking about decent work where people are put in employment with medical aid, pension fund, bursaries, transport costs. They get skills training, they get management training, corporate training. They get assisted to be entrepreneurs, and the companies that they work for procure from them. And then obviously we need a change in the fiscal policy, which I will do as a member of parliament to change so that South Africa moves towards full employment. We cannot have a situation where for the next 20 years there'll be 20 million unemployed every year. We have to break that cycle, and inshallah we're going to do something about it. South Africa signed the Convention on Decent Work with the International Labour Organization. President Mandela got the first annual award for promoting decent work. No one does it now. I want to do it. I want to promote decent
Mm.
work.
Mr. Hendricks, I think if you can just indulge me, I'd like to shift a bit of focus to Al-Jama-ah, your party. You mentioned before that just in a bit, Shamima Sali was sworn in as the second MP for Al-Jama-ah. There was a lot of speculation about probably Imran Musa going to be the second seat in Parliament for Al-Jama-ah. Can you maybe just shed a bit of light on that, on why did you go for Shamima Sali instead of Mr. Imran Musa? Mr. Hendricks, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Look,
Yes.
the issue of Imran Musa is a party matter, is an internal matter. He will take up the position in May next year.
Mm,
So, our advocate Shamima Sali is now uh, the second member of parliament. And as you know, the party has a right to deploy its members wherever it wants to. Imran Musa occupies a very important position as chair of a Section 29, I don't know the number, committee that is equal in status to a member of parliament. And we feel at the moment that he must continue with that and complete the job of making sure that the water supply in Joburg stabilizes, that the maintenance take place. So the party has now taken this decision to that he remains there, but with a firm indication that he should complete his responsibilities in the city of Johannesburg and take up his position as Member of Parliament in May next year. We have a year now to give Advocate Shamima Sali some parliamentary experience. I have been told by SAMNet and other NGOs, Ganief, it's time that you step down and hand over. So we have to cross-train people in the party and then see how they perform so that the party remains sustainable, that people have confidence in the party, and inshallah continue to vote for the party. So that is the position at the moment. Imran Musa is doing a great job as a ward councillor in Landasia, also as a chairman of a very important committee. And the status of that position is very similar in terms of remuneration and everything else to a member of parliament. Uh, and he is a loyal party cadre and has accepted position of the party that he finishes the job that he wants to do in Joburg, to return Joburg to an iconic city together with our other two councillors, Executive Mayor Kabalo Kwamanda and Imam Tapalo Ahmed. So we are very excited that when Shamima now moves over to Parliament, councillor position will be taken over by Advocate Yusuf Dalvai. So Al-Jama-ah has some very strong people in place at municipal level, at provincial level. We've got Maulana Khalil Brankais. In Parliament, we now have Shamima. And I have to imagine the party without myself, and I'm very confident that as we stand today, the party is in good hands.
mm,
And I
mm.
think that is my responsibility. So Sam Net, the doctor there who has been posting all over that Ganief needs to, it mustn't be a one-man show. He hasn't followed us very closely. We have been preparing and training people for the last 10 years. and we have about 20 people in a party that can make good MPs, good MPLs, good councillors. But the people must start voting for us so that we can give these 20 people an opportunity to show their mettle.
Mm,
They vote for other parties who make believe that they are Muslim parties. We have to build a strong, sustainable Muslim party for our South African Ummah, but be a political Muslim party for all communities. And we have proven that. We have we have councillors, executive mayors outside our faith. So people are happy to work on the Al-Jama-ah platform.
And just one last question before I let you go. From a lot of activist point of view, that would be Palestine activists. There's a concern that with the likes of Mandla Mandela being out of parliament, Naledi Pandor being out of parliament, and a host of other people who are pro-Palestine. There's a fear that the voice of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian movement won't be as loud in the national legislature as it used to be. What's your response to this?
Look, I've also done my bit in the National Assembly. I'm still around. And you haven't heard anything, if you haven't heard Advocate Shamima Sali. She's most probably the most vocal advocate about events in Palestine, in Gaza. She's going to rock Parliament when it comes to Palestinian matters and Palestinian issues. You've heard me, you've heard Imam Sheikh, you heard Manda Mandela. You now have to listen to Advocate Shamima Sali. Watch the space. She's going to take the fight for Palestine to a high level that we've never seen before in South Africa.
All right, we're going to leave it there.
And she's a woman.
Yes, definitely.
She's been a woman voice in Parliament for Palestine. We've never had a woman's voice.
No, I think that's good for representation also. But unfortunately, we're going to leave it there. Honorable Ganief Hendricks, Deputy Minister of Social Development, thank you so much for giving us your time. Really, really appreciate it. Congratulations on your appointment and all the best going forward.
No, thank you very much. I'm being sworn in tomorrow, so now I'm going to go all the way to Pretoria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Honorable Ganief Hendricks, the leader of Al-Jama-ah, and now the Deputy Minister of Social Development. Stay tuned. We'll be getting some more reactions from the appointment and reappointments of members of Parliament of the 7th Administration. Cyril Ramaphosa announcing yesterday there's 32 cabinet ministers. We won't touch on all of them, but we're going to touch on key portfolios, specifically the ones that are going to be affecting you a lot. I'm not saying the other ones are insignificant, but the likes of basic education, security, police, health, and home affairs will be getting reactions from a lot of organizations and bodies about the appointments of the ministers and deputy ministers in those portfolios. So don't go anywhere. We'll be with you after the break.